Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a first look at Gold Mythic Martinez 2000, another Skybound X2 character coming to the game. This character is going to be made available in an event during the actual Mythic Trial itself called Second Chances. More information on that event to follow, but visually we can see on the right hand side Martinez looks absolutely nuts. He's holding two like lightning blades and he's got two extras just floating in the air with him. When I do the animation for the attack, the two in the air do attack, as does one of his in his hands. Pretty cool indeed. He's got the kind of like orange bandana on. He's the Masked Crusader effectively in this case. On the left hand side you can see he's like mid-battle and it kind of looks like what he's fighting is the avatar we got from War. It's like a green monster, and it's kind of like what I saw from the avatar previously when we got the War reward. And if we look at his stats, we can see at level 1440, limit break 3, he has got 17,300 attack, 27,524 defense, and 33,815 HP. He is very defensive on those stats. He is a fast character, considered a tank, which makes a lot of sense when it comes to his defensive stats. He's of course a Gold Mythic character. He's going to be the 5th character to join the Skybound X2 Allegiance during this Mythic Trial. Okay, so first off we're going to look at his Adrenaline Rush, and quite fittingly it has got 3 blades flying across on the actual imagery of the rush here. I like that quite a lot. It is called Voltaic Overload. It is a 66 AP cost rush. 3 enemies get 7,000 burn for 3 turns. While battling on the defense team, deal damage to a single enemy equal to 75% of that enemy's max HP. So it won't be able to instantly one-shot a character, but it could do significant damage against the character. This should take into account things like bonus HP as well. So for instance, if someone has 100,000 HP, it would still do 75,000, but if they have 50,000 bonus HP on top, that 50,000 would absorb 50,000 of that 75,000, if that makes sense. The burn is quite nice. There's a lot of people who use burn kind of like resistances, but I guess because there's less burn and bleed on defense teams now, and most people look at defense teams and look at, for Zachary, if he's not there, they'll use like a more offensive team. This could be a little bit more frustrating to deal with. Okay, so I'm just going to defend on Holiday Hero Carl here. You'll see Martinez gained the last bit of AP he wants to get. I just wanted to show you how the basic attack basically looked if you wanted to know. Then we'll defend on everybody, and now the Adrenaline Rush is going to come out. And the Adrenaline Rush will, of course, do significant damage to one character, 75% of their max HP. Bonus HP will absorb some of that damage, as you can see as well. And we have 3 characters with the burn on it. It looks like it's going to always go to the character that's attacked, plus 2 RNG characters, as you see, Carl and the Wanderer both got the 7,000 burn as well. If we look at the upgrades on the Adrenaline Rush, you can see the AP cost gets reduced to 66 at grade 3. At grade 5, you get plus 2 burn target. So initially it is only going to be 1 burn target, and it will go up to the total of 3. And at LB2, you'll get plus 50% damage on that second part, which will change it from a 25% of the character's max HP to 75% of the max HP, which is actually a pretty big deal. That's a significant boost in damage, triple the damage effectively that you're going to be doing. Obviously, the bonus HP shield is going to be very good for your attack team, but there are characters that already exist on defense teams that remove bonus HP. So the team up is definitely going to be there with Martinez and other characters, and they punish you sometimes for having bonus HP as well. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of teams Martinez can kind of slot into. But the Adrenaline Rush is more of like a little bonus, I think. A lot of characters, especially on defense teams, I noticed that the signature moves and the passives is where, you know, they get kind of a lot of power, just because those are the things that are a bit more obvious to actually take place on defense teams. Even though defense teams are way tankier now and they're generally going to get off their rush still, I still see the signature move and the passives being where a lot of the power is. Now the next part is the signature move, and this is what I was talking about. Electric Enhancement. Initial cooldown of turn 1. Cooldown of 1 turn. Number of uses unlimited. This character gets 100% decapitation resistance for 1 turn. All fast teammates get 100% impair resistance for 2 turns. Deal 400% damage to a single enemy. Now, obviously 3 parts to this. The decap resistance for Martinez is great, obviously. And it's nice to see a more free-to-play accessible character in an event character get their hands on decap resistance. This has primarily been for characters that have been in Advanced or Ultra, or I believe Eris has it as well, so like harder to come by characters generally speaking. So I think this is the first character that has been a bit more like open sourced. The next one, all fast teammates getting 100% impair resistance for 2 turns, basically means they're going to have 100% impair resistance for the rest of the fight, as long as Martinez is getting the signature move off, and obviously has to be alive to get that off as well. But that's pretty good, especially if teamed up with particular characters like Eris. One of the best ways to deal with Eris is with impair. So the combo between those two characters seems to be very nice indeed. And the last bit is just dealing 400% damage to a single enemy. It's not based on anything. It's going to be based on his just attack stat. So it's not going to be too crazy because his attack stat is very low. Whereas when it came to his rush, it's not based on any stat at all. So it's just going to be flat damage. So while it does say 400%, it's not really going to be too crazy. It's more about the first 2 parts of this. And the second, last part's just doing a bit of damage. It can't proc any weapons or anything like that because it's dealing the damage rather than doing an attack. So you've got no risk of like being cheesed by a character who's got like stun on defense or something like that. So doing this signature move is always good for you and your defense team. Okay, so we're attacking again, and we're just going to have Martinez on the defense team just with one other fast character, just so you see how it works basically. I'm going to hit defend. Signature move of Martinez is going to come out. It's going to do a bit of damage, not too much at all. Like I say, 400% of 17,000 is not crazy. And you're going to see that we have the impair resistance on other fast characters and himself. As you can see, he's got it too. He also has the decap resistance. And he's also going to get his adrenaline rush because of other parts of his kit. Because he gets that 35 AP on a signature move, plus the AP he's going to gain from his specialist skill. His rush turnaround is very quick indeed. And I can't impair him now. If I had a character to like come along and impair him, unless they were a control-based character, it would still only have a 40% chance of actually happening, because obviously it would reduce that 100% chance down to 60%. Now we look at the upgrades on the signature move, and you can see at grade 2 it gets -1 to cooldown, so it goes from a 2-turn cooldown down to a 1-turn cooldown. At grade 4 it gets an upgrade where this character gets 100% decap resistance for 1 turn, so it's going to come in the first 5 grades, so it's basically by the time you get 2 of this character. At LB1, when you need 3 of the character, it's going to get plus 50% impair resistance. So initially it is 50% impair resistance to all fast characters for 2 turns, and it will get boosted up to 100%. And at LB3 it will get -1 to starting cooldown, where it will go from a turn 2 starting cooldown down to a turn 1 starting cooldown. This is actually quite important if you want to combo Martinez with his own specialist skill to get a nice turn 2 rush, because if you don't get him to go off turn 1, he will not get enough AP to go off turn 2 on the Adrenaline Rush. He'll have to do his signature move turn 2, and then obviously Adrenaline Rush turn 3, kind of the normal cycle, but you might as well take full advantage of someone's AP gain in other parts of their kit, if he has AP gain in other parts of his kit, which Martinez 2000 definitely does. Now next we're going to look at Martinez's Mythic Abilities. These are his passive skills, and as you can see, quite a few of them are quite simplistic but very powerful at the same time. He is a tank, so he's going to get Strength, which is 40% critical hit resistance. The next one is called Infinite Energy, where he's going to get 100% exhaust resistance, which is great because he does have unnatural AP gain on his specialist skill. Then we have Fast Charger. All fast teammates get 30% max HP. This is obviously really good. It works exactly like Andre's defense buff towards tough characters, Circuit's defense buff towards strong characters, but this is going to be Martinez with the fast HP buff towards fast characters. Obviously, it's going to be really nice. It's going to also double up on, if someone is a leader and they're also given HP, let's say Tyreese 2000, and then if someone has a HP weapon as well and they're a fast character, they're going to get all 3 and they're all going to multiply with each other. You know how the defense numbers can get with someone like Andre. It's going to be the same sort of thing with fast characters with Martinez and a fast leader that gives HP bonuses. Absolutely crazy. The next one is Power Down. When this character performs their Adrenaline Rush, 100% chance a single enemy gets -30% AP for 2 turns. This is obviously what we saw in the Adrenaline Rush when I showed it to you earlier, but it's just a nice little addition on top. It's quite frustrating to deal with this. Unless you have a command, there's 0 chance that character is going to be able to rush, unless they're a character that has sort of like follow-up or something like that on their kit, because they'll get their Adrenaline Rush 1 turn, And then the next turn, they'll lose the AP at the beginning of the turn when they would normally be able to Adrenaline Rush, and then they'll have to attack again or signature move to get the Adrenaline Rush again and wait till their next turn to be able to do it again. So it's obviously very problematic to a character that receives this. Okay, so just to show you how the passive that gives HP to fast characters works, I'm going to use Jesus 2000 as an example here. First, we're going to put in a leader, which is going to be Tyreese 2000, who gives all Skybound X2 characters 35% of their max HP. This will boost Jesus up to 53,000 HP, and this is quite nice. He obviously has a weapon with, I think, 40% HP on it already. Now, if we add Martinez on top, the multipliers will come in, and at that point, it will go up to just shy of 70,000 max HP on Jesus here. This is without him having an upgraded weapon, or with mods. You can see that Martinez himself has 83,000 max HP as well, just because his base HP was slightly higher. And also, I will say his weapon already has some HP on it. Very nice indeed when it comes to fast characters. Any fast character coming onto this team would get the bonus from Martinez plus their own weapon. But to get the bonus of the leader skill, they would also have to be Skybound X2. Now, while there is very few sources of exhaust on attack teams, Rosie can be used on attack. And I do know some people do use Rosie against the likes of Sebastian. So if we do use Rosie's signature move, we can see the exhaust comes out, but the resist comes in because of the 100% resist on Martinez. Now, Rosie is a control character, so she has a 40% chance to hit that. As you can see, it did land on Lao Po without any problems at all. If it does land, well, Martinez is going to be in a lot of trouble. But with that 100% exhaust resistance being better than the Paragon mod potential, you've got basically as good as you can hope for within that passive. So we'll look at the upgrades on these passives. You can see at grade 1, the first half of Infinite Energy comes in, giving 50% exhaust resistance. At grade 2, the first half of Strength comes in, giving 20% critical hit resistance. And then at grade 3, it goes up to 100% exhaust resistance. Grade 4, all fast teammates get 15% of their max HP. Grade 5, when this character performs their Adrenaline Rush, 50% chance a single enemy gets minus 30 AP, or 30% AP, should I say, for 2 turns. Then we move on to the limit breaks. 20% critical hit resistance comes in at limit break 1, making it 40% total. At limit break 2, we see Fast Charger 2 come in, making it a 30% HP total to fast characters that are in the same team as Martinez. And then at limit break 3, Power Down 2 comes in, making it a 100% chance a single enemy gets minus 30% AP for 2 turns. So pretty nice, obviously. A couple of resistances. I like the fact that, you know, he's quite a nice support character as much as he's doing things for himself. The HP to other teammates is very nice indeed. I do think that a lot of people like these sort of characters where, you know, they give out HP or defense to teammates. It would be great if we saw more offensive based ones as well that gave out attack to teammates, be it adjacent ones within their passives or particular traits, just to build up the synergy on attack teams. But when it comes to Martinez himself, very powerful, and the fact that he works so well with Tyreese 2000 and Jesus 2000 is really good. So if you get all 3 of these characters, and that shouldn't be too expensive to come by considering, you know, this is an event character, Tyreese is in a battle pass, and, you know, the Skybound X Mythic Trial character is Jesus, you should get quite a lot of these characters regardless of, you know, how deep you were to go into the battle pass and so on and so forth. So this is actually quite nice. You're going to be able to get a reasonably decent synergy team together regardless of your level of play. Now we're just going to touch quickly on Martinez 2000's specialist skill, and it is Amped. When he has 100% max HP, he will gain 50% of his max AP. This happens at the beginning of his turn. So if you do a little bit of damage against him, he will not gain any AP. This is why things like bonus HP to protect Martinez. Obviously, he's a fast character, so having an absolute defense weapon will be very useful for him. You know, there are ways to combat him taking damage. And regardless of what happens, he is a distraction at that point. People are focusing on him, doing damage, or controlling him, which is allowing other characters in your team to get a little bit of a chance to do their thing. He's not going to be as crazy as Sebastian because he hasn't got any other AP gain to do a turn 1 rush pretty much. But, you know, he can get a turn 2 rush if that signature move goes off. So you've got a couple of ways to deal with it. You've got a couple of ways to defend against it. But I think in this way, in this case, when it comes to Martinez 2000, it is a little bit more balanced than the way we've seen it on like Sebastian, who's just kind of crazy when it comes to how much you have to actually throw at him to deal with that issue. Now lastly, we do have Martinez 2000's weapon, and it is Martinez 2000's energy knives. They have 40% HP, a huge bonus to AP when being attacked, improved absolute defense while slow when being attacked, 60% chance to reduce incoming damage to 0 and applies 20% slow to the attacking character. And then in the last slot, Skybound X2 Allegiance buff. When this character performs their Adrenaline Rush, one other Skybound X2 Allegiance teammate gets 100% of their max AP. Now I don't think I have to show you an example of this happening, but basically this means that if he does his Adrenaline Rush first, a Skybound X2 character on the same team, which he does seem to synergize well with already, will just instantly get their rush. So that means Skybound X2 would be Tyreese, and it also would be Jesus 2000, who are primarily defense team characters. Now, obviously, there are going to be other Skybound X2 characters that you could use on a defense team, but those two, along with Martinez, seem to be the most, defensive characters so far. There is still one more character to come, but any of those characters would potentially get this. It should primarily go to the one with the highest AP already. This can sometimes be a negative because someone could be at like 54 AP already and they only need 1 AP to gain their rush to do it. But as long as they're gaining their rush to actually do it the same turn, it's always beneficial. They're effectively being commanded with no downside. They're not going to miss a turn. And obviously getting off a rush as early as possible is nice, especially considering Martinez rushes turn 2. And you can sort of see the cascade effect of Martinez' specialist skill with his signature move into turn 2 rush, giving his teammates in a turn 2 rush potentially as well. You're going to have to shut this guy down pretty early in one way or another. Be it stopping him from rushing, be it via impair, as long as he doesn't get that signature move off, be it via daze. There's something going to have to be thrown at Martinez. And like I say, he's going to be a good distraction, who's also got quite good defensive stats within his kit because his HP is going to be just so high. Now, do remember, this is more of an event character, so this character is going to be more accessible, and you only need to get 1 copy to get this crazy weapon. That's going to be obviously the best part of it. Now, how you want to upgrade this weapon is going to be completely up to you, but I would definitely say keeping that HP on there is very important, just to multiply with his own passive and potentially a leader's skill as long as they have HP in there. So this was a little look at Martinez 2000, the event character coming to the game from Second Chances event. Like I say, more information to follow on the Second Chances event soon enough, but he looks pretty powerful. The synergy between him and the other Skybound X2 characters looks good as well, and I think that's going to be a team we're going to be seeing together, used together a lot. I think probably out all of the Mythic Trials, maybe the last 4 or 5 Mythic Trials, this is probably going to be the one we're going to see the most used together as a team, because those 3 characters seem to work very well together, more than any Mythic Trial that I've seen be used in terms of like the synergy between 3+ characters so far. And we'll have to see what the last character is going to bring to the table as well. But Skybound X2 looks pretty good. Throw an Eris in there as well. I think you're laughing at the moment, to be honest. But what thoughts do you have on Martinez 2000 as a character? What do you like about his kit? What do you think about his weapon? What do you think about the visuals? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.